Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today's going to be another commentary, another video actually suggested by HAMISH, because recently, obviously, with the previous commentary, WoT Blitz Dummies video actually did quite well on how to platoon effectively, so I thought I'm going to continue this series as often as I can. Today actually we're going to talk about ammunition types and how to use each type of ammunition. Now I'm going to use the WoT Tier 9 tank destroyer and the E75 German heavy tank just as examples, because they basically have the range of all the ammunition, and then I'm going to show you some examples of using the ammunition in the clips to follow. So if you look at the WoT it has its AP as its standard shells, its heat as its gold ammo, and the HESH as its HE ammo, as it's said by the symbol in game. Now, when you're looking at the ammo, obviously the gold is the most expensive. You can pay for gold or with credits. So you can see here it's either 13 gold or 5,200 credits. Most of the time, most people just go credits because no one has the gold to just keep spending every single game you play in it. The gold stuff is, for some people, well, for most people, the gold ammo is the stuff you don't have the most of. You just have it there in case you need that extra penetration. But about this ammo, in majority of tanks, I think there's a few exceptions, majority of tanks, the gold ammo has better pen but does less alpha damage with the gun. So for the WoT, if I was to use the AP rounds up the top here, I would get an average of, I think it's 650 alpha damage with that gun. If I use the heat shells, it's an alpha damage of 580, so you sacrifice the damage for the penetration. Sometimes it's good use, sometimes it's not. With the HE, however, the HE has always has the worst penetration. If it's in the third slot, as you see down here. As you can see there, its penetration value is 72 to 98 millimeters. So only really squishy, non-armoured targets, for example the RU or the behind of the T-34 or T-30, those kind of soft areas that you can shoot one of these in. But the advantage of using HE is the extraordinary value that you get on, the damage value you get on each shot. So as you can see there, with the WoT's HE value, you get between 720 to 1,200 as your max roll HE damage. Most of the time in the WoT you'll get an average of 900 to 1,000 HE damage, which is amazing. Occasionally, if you get a low roll, you might get 850, 880, but normally it's around about 900. But you have to be able to know when to shoot HE, because when you look at tanks with HE, most of the time they're just going to show up yellow, and realistically you don't want to be shooting HE at them unless you have such a high powered gun. See, with the WoT shooting HE at the yellow kind of shading on the tanks would mean you do a damage of 300. So it's not amazing. With this it's alright, but with lower tiers you want to make sure that when using HE ammo, the armour space is grey, that you can pen it easily with HE. Now we're going to just quickly look at the E75, because it has a slightly different round of ammo. It has the APCR ammo. It's basically the same as heat, but 99% sure that APCR can go through spaced armour, whereas heat struggles to sometimes. So when you're fighting tanks with spaced armour, heat doesn't always do the job, and you might get the occasional bounce and you'll think, why the hell is this? Well, that's because of the heat is spaced armour and it has an explosion on it, whereas APCR is just a bullet straight in. It's like a better version of your AP, basically, so it does the same thing. Now I do have to point out that some tanks might have two types of ammo, and like they might have APCR as your main ammo, APCR as your gold ammo. I think the FE204 Tier 10, if I'm correct, has APCR or AP as its main ammo, and then it has heat or HESH, HESH gold ammo and HESH normal ammo down here. So you have two types of HESH, different with penetration values. So I'm going to show you some examples now quickly in training rooms, so I hope you enjoy. I'll be back in a minute. Right guys, welcome back. I'm in a training room now and I have got my alt account on in the Super Pershing and I'm in the M41 Bulldog, just purely because its HESH value is actually really good for its type of tank, near enough to the same as the RU-152. So we're going to start with the AP rounds. This is your standard ammunition. So you can see when looking at the tank, it is red mostly on the front. This area you cannot penetrate, as I was doing there. There's no point in penetrating that way because I'm not going to be able to pen. The grey stuff is the stuff you can pen. Now when you're using AP rounds there will be two colours, red or grey, or just the normal colour of the tank. So in this situation the T2 is a greyish brown, so that's why you can see this browny stuff here and the red here. So the red you can't pen, so don't even bother shooting at that. Shoot at the stuff that is grey. So if I shoot the hatch here, I'm going to do damage. If I go around to the side, it's all grey. So this Super Pershing has really good frontal armour, but its side armour is just terrible. So anything's going to pen him from here. You can see around with his rear as well. So if we go start with heat, for example now, so this is the gold ammo, the premium ammo, and you can see there is so much less red on here. Now with this, it's a bit temperamental because the Super Pershing has spaced armor, so your heat might not always go through. So I'm going to shoot the lower plate here, and you can see it doesn't go through. That's purely because it's heat and it's spaced armor. Let me see if I can get a shot in somewhere like here. There we go. So if we go between the two spaced plates of armor on the front of it, we can get a shot in. Whereas before, look at that, it's red there. You can't get one in. So you can see the difference in penetration values. And basically the sides and the back will be the same as the AP. It's just its main armor and it's taking it down. See, when I was talking about APCR, it would be able to get through this armor because APCR doesn't have a problem with spaced armor, whereas heat does. So we're going to switch over to HE now, and you can see the colours change a lot. You can still see the red and where the really well armoured stuff is. You're not going to penetrate there, as you can see there, nothing happens, don't even try. The next gradient colour down is the yellow, and if you shoot in the yellow, you can see it's going to do damage, but it's going to do not much at all. You won't get up to much at all. Maybe the maximum damage with a HE, especially with this tank, is something like 50. Let me try again to see if I can get a higher roll. There, we got 26 there. But with the HE penetration on this tank, if I go around to the side, you can see because the armour is really thin on this tank and I've got great HESH penetration value, it's much easier to hit it. So with some other tanks in the game, with the Super Pershing you won't be able to penetrate the side of its turret with HESH. It just happens that the M41 Bulldog actually has a really good HESH value, so you can. So I'm going to move around to the back, and you can quickly see that as this is now angled, it's gone back to yellow. So you have to be flat on normally with HESH to do the damage. So we're actually going to switch back to AP and just shoot it in the back, and you can see our average there was 259. Now we're going to switch to HE and we're going to put a shot in, and you can see 305. So we got that extra damage on there. And bearing in mind, if you can keep shooting HESH at tanks, especially in a light tank like this, you're shooting out all that damage per 6-ish seconds. Let me just see the reload exactly. There we go. So that's how it happens. So let me just quickly look for you here. Let's just quickly go into here and we can see the armor penetration on here. You can see here the high explosive is 112mm of armor penetration. So it's a good tank, this one, for a good example. but other tanks might struggle a bit. But most tanks, especially American tanks, you can usually always get on their rear and shoot it. So that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to try and get a lot more commentaries coming out. Obviously they all will be a bit longer than the replays. I want to start commentating over some replays as well. But I hope you've enjoyed. Like and subscribe. We're trying to reach that 50 sub mark by the end of February. We're kind of close. We could get closer. It depends. Maybe if I start doing some more interesting videos, it might help. Keep sending in your replays. They really do help. And I'll see you next time.